Improving your ad performance. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Well, simply, initially what used to happen is, and a lot of people might have actually thought about doing this, uh, maybe chances are that you are targeting a very specific audience group. Okay, let's suppose you are running some sort of agency and you are targeting only solar companies who are interested in buying your advice and services. Now when you try to run ads and try to get these people as a client, this becomes very, very specific, right? Which is good if you're starting out. But if you have already spent a lot of money on ads and you've already scaled to the maximum level, then it's probably time to actually start expanding and start thinking, hey, if I'm only targeting solar companies, are there more other organizations or similar organizations or other businesses that I can sell to who can also benefit from my advice and services? That is something that you can think. Or chances are that you are maybe selling too general, because of which, even though the cost per lead might be pretty low or even the cost might be less, your conversions might be also very, very less, because you're trying to reach almost every Tom, Dick and Harry. So maybe you are selling to some sort of course to the entire audience, like, I help all working professionals to basically quit their jobs and whatnot. And because of which now you are attracting very low quality general leads. And what you can now consider doing is probably be more specific, where you can consider maybe only targeting, let's suppose Java developers to land a high paying job or something like that, right? So the point is, if you're too specific, consider going a little bit broader. If you're too general, consider being a little bit more specific, so that you can get hyper targeted leads. And of course, your quality would be a lot better. So the next thing that you can consider doing is go about creating better hooks and better opportunities. Now, this again, I would put it under improving your ad performance level only. Now, for example, think about the fact that, are you in a saturated market or are you in a non-saturated market? For example, back in the days when I started my own business, the concept that was really, really new in India was the word high ticket. Okay, so I decided to actually really take this word and really scale it to the next level. So anytime anyone thinks high ticket, they just remember UAbility, and that results in conversions. But now in today's time, if you start to use this word high ticket in your advertisements, automatically you will start failing, because every Tom, Dick and Harry you can see is trying to actually use this. So one of my clients was actually struggling with this kind of situation before. So I told him that, hey, rather than just using high ticket and trying to go into the saturated market, maybe for coaches, consultants or whatnot, what you can consider doing is targeting maybe a non-saturated market, where you could probably consider being a YouTube consultant to get high ticket clients, right? So rather than just saying, oh, I will help everybody get high ticket clients and I will help you get high ticket clients using some generic strategy, now you have introduced a new opportunity, like let's suppose YouTube, which would allow you to actually stand out and be different and also be part of a non-saturated opportunity. For example, one of my clients, rather than saying, high ticket, he said, hey, I will help you get high ticket clients using YouTube organic content without actually spending on ads, which is a pretty good opportunity. And this is working really, really well for him. The final few recommendations I can give to you is, in today's time, what is working really well are image ads, right? So the more images you can test, the better it would be. Earlier, video ads used to perform a lot better, but I think these days people just have their attention span almost to zero, that they don't even have time to actually see a full video. So what they prefer is just give me some image with some text on it and tell me what exactly you do and get to the point faster. And I've noticed these image ads to work really well. Another ad concept that is working really well for us is called as story ads. So these are, again, under 30-second ads. When you try them out, these are outperforming even longer videos, which are 1-2 minute long. So these two formats in particular are working a lot better. The final tip that I can give you, which will allow you to improve your ad performance, is just to stand out. Now, if you want a live example of what do I mean by standing out, just go to my YouTube channel or click the link in the description and see this video that we created, where I'm basically portraying to be Ranbir Kapoor in this animal movie. And we are just having this skit where we are trying to, hit the pain points of business owners who are struggling to actually generate leads. Now, think about this. How many people do you know who use the movie Animal as a reference point to target business owners to actually help them solve the problem of getting high ticket clients? You can't think of anyone other than just like us who did that. So how can you also be creative when it comes to probably your own marketing campaigns, your own ads that you want to run? How can you also think about doing things which nobody else is doing, and also making yourself stand out? Because I remember a lot of my clients telling me, Rohan, the reason why we bought from you because you've been using the same system since the last 6 years, and you have because of your creative ads, we have been able to like sort of resonate with you, and this allowed us to also build a brand very well. And if you know somebody else who also does this very well, would be a company like Cred. If you've seen their ads, especially that Rahul David one, that was my favorite one. But Cred also built their credibility by obviously launching creative ads, and that allowed them to stand out from a very crowded marketplace, right? So you can also try that hack out. If you, the more creative you are, the more you will stand out from rest of the crowd.